With its built-in kickstand, included keyboard cover, and Windows 8 OS, Microsoft's Surface with Windows RT is definitely a unique tablet. But that's just on the outside. What about on the inside? Let's find out. I'm Bill Detweiler, and this is Cracking Open. From a hardware standpoint, there's a lot to like about the Windows RT version of the Surface. The 10.6-inch IPS screen has a true 16:9 aspect ratio and a resolution of 1366 by 768. It has stereo speakers, a micro HDMI output, a full-size USB 2 port, micro SD card slot, and 720p front and rear cameras. Microsoft didn't skimp on the internals either. It has a quad-core 1.3 GHz NVIDIA Tegra 3 processor, 2 gigs of RAM, Bluetooth 4, Wi-Fi, and it comes in either 32 or 64 gig models. It's slightly heavier than the 3rd gen iPad and Galaxy Note 10.1, but only by a few ounces. Overall, it's well built and feels sturdy in your hands. And thankfully, you don't need a heat gun to crack it open. With the kickstand raised, remove the 2 Torx screws on the stand's hinges and then the stand itself. The case screws that were hidden under the stand come out next, followed by the thin piece of trim along the top edge and then the screws that were underneath that. From the bottom, lift up on the back cover and in the process disconnect the battery from the motherboard. Now we now get our first look inside the Surface and can continue our teardown. The battery is glued to the back cover, but comes off without much fuss. Next to come out is the magnetic charging port and micro SD card reader assembly, followed by the speakers. Then what appears to be a 3rd, smaller speaker and the headphone jack and volume button assembly. After disconnecting it from the motherboard and detaching all its connectors, we can remove the smaller touchscreen circuit board. Last to come out is the motherboard, and once it's removed, we can detach the cameras, pop off the shields, and get a good look at the chips that power the Surface. At this point, our teardown is pretty much complete. While it is possible to separate the LCD from the front glass panel, the two are held together with strong adhesive, and I don't want to risk damaging either component by separating them. Now, in the past, I would have criticized Microsoft for using this construction technique because it increases the cost of replacing a cracked screen or broken panel. But having spent way too much time trying to remove specks of dust from between the iPad's glass panel and LCD, I'll spend the extra money for a quicker repair. Now, the only real downside here is that the magnetic contact for the touch cover can't really be accessed without removing the LCD. The Surface with Windows RT isn't the most difficult to crack open tablet I've worked on. No, that title still goes to the iPad. But it's not a cakewalk either. Hopefully, the Surface with Windows Pro, which is aimed at businesses, will be more repair-friendly. Now, for more information on the Surface, including real-world tests, pricing, and first impressions of Windows 8, check out Eric Franklin's full CNET review. Now, to see more teardown photos and read my full hardware analysis, go to techrepublic.com/crackingopen. I'm Bill Detweiler. Thanks for watching.